You come home from a long day at work and walk through the front door. You call out to your daughter, who normally comes barreling down the stairs to ask you about your day. She's always thoughtful, kind, and eager to hear about how your day went. You call out several times but hear nothing. You decide to go and look for her, thinking maybe she fell asleep reading her favorite book again. This happened a lot. You make your way through her bedroom and go into her blinding teal bathroom that she convinced you to paint because it's her favorite color. You find her unconscious, her brittle body halfway hunched over the bathroom toilet, still wearing her silk pajamas from the night before. The smell of vomit fills the air and covers the bathroom floor. She is cold to the touch. She is unresponsive. She is gone. Her internal war with herself is over, and her illness has won. The scenario that I just asked you to imagine is the reality for many people in one way or another. Today I want to talk to you about the ongoing issues of eating disorders and what you can do to get involved in the fight against them. Addressing this topic is very important because eating disorders have the highest mortality rate out of any other mental illness. Deaths by this illness are real and they are happening more and more. To start off, let's go ahead and talk about the different kinds of eating disorders and who is affected by them. The 3 disorders I'm going to mention are the 3 most commonly known. I want to include a disclaimer here and let you know that no eating disorder is cookie cutter. No one falls under any definition that's given to it. The disorders often mix with one another. They are complicated and they are unique to each individual who experiences them. With that being said, let's first talk about anorexia nervosa. Oxford Dictionary defines anorexia as an obsessive desire to lose weight by refusing to eat. Association of America wrote an informative article that lists several symptoms of anorexia, including but not limited to dramatic weight loss, preoccupation with food and calories, resisting maintenance of a healthy weight, and excessive exercise. This type is the most restrictive type of the disorder. The next type is BED, otherwise referred to as binge eating disorder. Binge eating disorder is defined as frequently consuming large amounts of food in one sitting and feeling that behavior is out of control. In an article by Mayo Clinic, BED symptoms are listed as including consuming large amounts of food, eating in secret, feelings of guilt or disgust after food consumption, or hoarding food in strange places. The type of ED called bulimia. ED stands for eating disorder. Bulimia is a consumption of large amounts of food in a short time, or feelings of guilt or shame follow, and as a result, the method of making yourself vomit is used to avoid the weight gain. Some of bulimia's symptoms are, which are not included to, or not limited to, self-inducing vomiting, misuse of laxatives, abusing weight loss supplements, and excessive exercise to rid yourself of calories. These symptoms were once again provided by the Mayo Clinic. Now that you know some initial information on different types of eating disorders, let's go ahead and talk about the common misconceptions that you should avoid. The first misconception is that eating disorders are a choice. They are most definitely not a choice. Eating disorders are a complex medical and psychiatric illness that patients don't choose and parents don't cause. The National Eating Disorder Organization explains that there is decades of genetic research that proves that biological factors play a role in who can develop this illness. The illness also commonly occurs with other mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety. Nobody just decides to develop the illness. The next misconception I chose to discuss is that anorexia is the only dangerous eating disorder or serious eating disorder. This is false. All eating disorders are dangerous and all of them are serious. Anorexia is a disorder that may be most apparent to your eyes. Yes, that's true. Patients who have anorexia often have low body weight, making their bones more apparent and making their state of health more apparent. But that doesn't mean that this illness is more important than any of the other ones. And this does not reflect what the illness actually is. What it reflects is what's happening on the inside. That is what's most important in eating disorders. As an example, the National Eating Disorder Organization tells us that people who have binge eating disorder or bulimia and abuse laxatives or diuretics or force themselves to vomit are at a higher risk of sudden death from heart attacks due to electrolyte imbalances. Excessive exercise can also risk death due to the stress put on the body. No disorder is more important or dangerous than the other. They all matter and they all need our help to stop. The next misconception that I want to discuss is that you can tell who has an eating disorder just by looking at them. This is false. Eating disorders do not discriminate. They don't care who you are, where you came from, your sexuality, your gender, your religion, the size of your body. It's definitely false that you could ever assume someone's illness based on their physical appearance. The reality is that most people who have an eating disorder are not underweight, and those who have the illness will go out of their way to hide their symptoms due to guilt or fear of being caught. The illness is tricky. Be careful not to make assumptions. I want to go ahead and include this here, that if you think you may know someone suffering from an eating disorder, or you yourself think you may be suffering from one, you can text the crisis line at 741-741. I know that sometimes understanding the severity of a problem is easier to interpret through numbers. I have gathered a few statistics on eating disorders from the Eating Disorder Coalition. This may help shed some light on this ongoing issue. I will go ahead and read them now. Please go ahead and interpret the information and realize the severity of the matter. More than 30 million people in the U.S. suffer from an eating disorder. 1 in 5 anorexia deaths is by suicide. 10 million men suffer from eating disorders. Over 70% of those who suffer from an eating disorder will not seek treatment due to stigma. The rate of children under 12 being admitted to hospitals for eating disorders rose 119% in less than a decade. Disorder risk is genetic, and every single day at least 23 people die from an eating disorder. After hearing about the devastating effects of eating disorders, let's talk about those who are working towards resolving this issue. One organization working to fight this illness is NEDA, the National Eating Disorder Association. NEDA was founded in 2001 through the merger of two organizations. Those two organizations were the Eating Disorders Awareness and Prevention Association and the American Anorexia Bulimia Association. NEDA's mission is to provide support for individuals and families affected by eating disorders and to provide access to resources for quality care. NEDA has accomplished many things in the fight towards ending eating disorders. Recently, NEDA introduced the Eating Disorders Prevention in Schools Act of 2020. This New York-based act, if passed, would encourage all local schools to incorporate eating disorder prevention into their local school wellness policies. This is amazing, as it would target awareness in school-aged children and potentially be a great method of prevention. As we previously discussed, it's more and more common that children under the age of 12 are developing eating disorders at a young age. Incorporating this into schools would allow for you to no longer have that miscommunication between those children not being aware of potential risks they may have to developing that eating disorder. On February 21st, 2020, NEDA disclosed NEDA Network, which is a newfound partnership between them and roughly 20 other organizations with mission-aligned ideas to provide a unified voice against eating disorders. The National Eating Disorder Association is committed to their cause. The organization hosts walks all over the United States to raise money and awareness for those who are affected by eating disorders. Everyone knows someone with an eating disorder, whether they are aware of it or not. To be surrounded by a large number of people who all support this cause is an amazing experience, which is why they do the walks, to raise awareness and to unify people against the cause. NEDA has also had tremendous success in its partnership with Aerie, which is the sister store of American Eagle Outfitters. Aerie's message is to be Aerie real, meaning to embrace your most natural self. In their collaboration with NEDA, they promote bodies of all shapes, sizes, colors, and abilities. They are also a size-inclusive store that is dedicated to not retouching their photos. Their collaboration raises money by vouching to donate $1 for each unretouched photo posted with the hashtag #AerieReal onto social media platforms such as Instagram or Twitter. Now that we are all aware of the operations of NEDA, let's talk about the great things that can be achieved through their mission. There are many benefits to supporting the National Eating Disorder Association. The best way to get involved is to educate yourself. This comes at no cost, just time. This can help to end stigmas that we previously discussed. Ending the stigma means that more people are likely to pursue treatment to have recovery. Therefore, educating yourself means more lives saved, more people recovering, more fight against the eating disorder. You can join NEDA in any of the various walks hosted annually across the U.S. Walking for a cause is a beneficial way to give back to your own community. Another way to get involved with NEDA is to become an ambassador with either them through their organization or for Area Real. They both offer ambassador opportunities on their websites. The benefit of being an ambassador is it allows you to gain experience in volunteering with others, and it is a good experience working with a nonprofit. Volunteering can also be good to use for satisfying a volunteer requirement for school. Various benefits of giving back. Let's wrap it up. Eating disorders are the most fatal of all mental illnesses, and we are very fortunate for the work that is being done by the National Eating Disorder Association. Their efforts to raise awareness, fund research, and provide extensive resources is crucial to ending the illness. They provide hope for those who suffer from the illness as well as their families. All of us know someone who suffers from an eating disorder, whether we know it or not. Please consider registering for a free NEDA awareness walk or donate directly to their website if you are able. Any contribution helps, whether it be your money or your time. You could be the reason someone seeks treatment for their recovery. You could be the reason someone lives. Please visit the National Eating Disorder Association website to get involved. Thank you.